Well, good morning and welcome to Thursday morning. It is the 9th of June today, and our devotion this morning is entitled, What Went Wrong? What Went Wrong? It quotes Psalm 89:1 as the opening verse, but we'll be drawing from pretty much the rest of Psalm 89 as we make some notes through this morning. Verse 1 of Psalm 89 says, I will sing of the Lord's great love forever. With my mouth I will make your faithfulness known through all generations. That's a repeated phrase in the Psalms, to all generations. Um, every new generation is responsible to pass on the truth about who God is and what he has done to the next generation. There's also evidence of failure to do that in the scriptures, and it never ends up well. Psalm 89 has three sections, and I've been fascinated with how the writer, Ethan the Ezrahite, unfolded his feelings. The first 18 verses are enthusiastic praise and worship. Verses 19 through 37 recount God's promises to King David for an abiding dynasty. And verses 38 to 52 seem to ask a question. What went wrong? Apparently, Ethan was watching his nation collapse from within and without. When I was a young man, I thought everything would always turn out all right if I simply walked with the Lord, prayed, and persevered through trouble. I still believe that, but I've since added an adverb. Things will ultimately turn out all right. In the rough and tough of the here and now, things may immediately go wrong, may be very wrong. The three stages of Psalm 89 represent three conditions in our own lives. Sometimes we're in the first 18 verses joyful and worshipful. Sometimes we're reminding ourselves of God's promises, as Ethan did in the middle of this psalm. And then there are those times when we're reeling from pain, asking what went wrong. But here's what we cannot miss. The word faithful occurs more often in this psalm than in any other chapter of the Bible. Verse 1, with my mouth I will make your faithfulness known through all generations. Verse 2, you have established your faithfulness in heaven itself. Verse 5, the heavens praise your wonders, Lord, your faithfulness too. Verse 8, you, Lord, are mighty, and your faithfulness surrounds you. Verse 14, love and faithfulness go before you. Verse 19, once you spoke in a vision to your faithful people. Verse 24, my faithful love will be with him. Verse 33, I will not take my love from him, nor will I ever betray my faithfulness. Verse 37, the faithful witness in the sky. Verse 49, in your faithfulness you swore to David. Ethan could not have known how God's promises to David would be ultimately fulfilled through the coming of Jesus, Messiah, Son of David. But he did know this. Even when things are wrong, God's faithfulness is long and strong. The closing quote is by Robert Trail. God is faithful. He always performs what he promises. He always does as he says, speaks as he thinks, remembers what he says, never changes his mind, and always performs his word. Those three stages talked about here enthusiastic praise and worship, recounting God's promises. Usually we do that at a time when we're starting to wonder things, right? And then questioning. What went wrong? How did things turn out like this? I would imagine that all of us have been through all three of those times. And sometimes they seem to all come together at the same time, don't they? And we can doubt and we can question and we can forget about who our God is. But we go back to the scriptures and we read a psalm like this or so many other passages that our writer of this devotion book has taken us to already, where we're just reminded God is faithful. God is faithful. Don't lose sleep over it. He's there. He's with us. His promises are still sure. He still will take care of us as he promised. So yeah, sometimes it seems like things have went wrong, have gone wrong. But we got to stop dwelling just there, right? And just puzzling over that constantly, and instead return to the Lord, recite his promises, be reminded that he is faithful. Don't know what you may be going through today, what phase, as we read those three phases, you thought, oh yeah, that's me today. Or that's the stage of life I'm in right now, or whatever the case may be. Just an encouragement to be reminded his faithfulness is known and should be made known through all generations. We pass it on to others. Blessings to you today.